Hello everyone. So let's go to another objective, which is your from EOT, a 4-mark question, simple and direct can be. It's from lesson 2.2 and it says find the extrema of a polynomial function. So in this lesson, though there are two objectives which I have mentioned here, zeros of polynomial and extrema, but there is one question directly expected from extrema. But yes, we do need knowledge of zeros. As you have seen in the previous lesson, there were questions about finding zeros from the graph. Also, we would be needing the same knowledge in the next modules, which is module 3 as well. Okay, so let's get started and have a quick review about this. So first, if I talk about analyzing the graph, understanding the graph, we have just spoken about something called end behavior, right? But now our objective is to understand what else is the graph doing in the middle and what is happening. So if you look at the graph, when it is going from here, it goes up and then it goes down and then again it goes up. So these are nothing but the turning points. I call them turning points. So these are turning, and whenever the graph is turning, its behavior is changing. Here it was going up, which means it was increasing. Then it started going down, which means decreasing. Again it started going up and then it going down. This kind of understanding is needed to find extrema. We will come to it what is extrema. But another which is very easy thing is about the zeros. So zeros here are nothing but wherever the graph is crossing the x-axis. So if you see, there are how many points I have marked here? There are 3, right? So zeros are nothing but wherever the graph is crossing the x-axis. These are also known as x-intercept. So in this case, how many you can see? You can see there are 3 zeros, and which tells me that the minimum degree possible for this graph, minimum degree of this polynomial would be at least 3. It can be 4 or more, but at least 3 it would be there. Okay, so here there are the 3 zeros, and if you want to read them, you can read them easily, that these are the points. This is 0, so one is between 0 and -1, another is between -2 and -3, or maybe it's closer to -3, and this one looks like it is at 2. So this is how we can understand and choose options if there is a questions for 0. But now coming to the extrema point of view, extrema is nothing but wherever the graph is making a turn. So whenever it's making a turn, you see there is some top point it reaches, and when it's taking a turn, another kind of, there is a minimum point. So there are two types of extrema. One we call it maximum, another we call it minimum. Okay, so one is maximum, one is minimum. As you can see from the graph, you can easily understand that which one will be maximum. Maximum will be means the top one. So this is the maximum point where I can see it can be turning. This is the minimum point for turning. That's how we remember. So if you see in the graph, whenever we are getting maximum, I am going from plus to minus. The values of the graph, values of fx, it's going positive, positive, positive means increase, and then suddenly it decreases. I'm not talking what sign, it's just going up and going down. That time we get maximum. The time we get minimum is the values are going down and then it suddenly goes up, which means from minus to plus. So don't look at the sign, but look at how the values will behave. So I will show you one question where we are going to use this concept to find extrema. So in this question, in this graph, if the question says what is the extrema here, so they might mention plus maximum or minimum, like that. So you should be able to answer and exactly ask the question. If they say value of the function, which means they want the y coordinate, so you have to give this answer. If they say x coordinate, then please go down and match this up. Where is it going? It's between somewhere -2 and -1. Check in the options and choose your option. So this would be something closer to -2, which would be like -1 point something. So looks like that. Is it fine? Same way, if they say minimum, you will see what is this value corresponding to in the x coordinate, and this would turn out to be x equal 1. So I can say that this point, which I can read easily, is now 1 comma, if you read this one, 1 2 3 4 5 negative, that's it. So the value of extrema here, which is minimum, is -5, but at which coordinate? At x equal to 1. Similarly here at x equal to something -1.8, and the value would be somewhere around 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5. Is it fine? So that is how we give the answer. So this can be -1.8 comma 4. So you should be able to understand what the question is asking. For example, there is one very direct question from last year, as you can see, this one here. So the direct question says here, estimate the x coordinate. So they want only x coordinate where there is a relative maxima. So you remember maxima is the top point like this, minima is this one. So in this question the good point was the graph was given. When the graph is given, our objective turns out to be very simple. So now here if I look, so if I check my graph, this one is a minimum and I see this one is a maximum, and I go down again and there is a minimum. So in this question there are two minimums and one maximum, but the question says relative maximum and which coordinate? X. So this one can be done very fast, and you know this is maximum. You just need to check the x coordinate. So if you go down and check, so I have marked it too much. If you go down and check, it's corresponding somewhere here, right? So 0, -1 and so on. So let's check the points now. Are there 2 points for relative maxima? No. Are there 3 points? No. There are 2 options left. Is it 0? Do you think so? At 0 it is maximum? No. And which option? So our option here becomes x equal to -1. That's simple question. I hope it's fine from the graph how it is. Okay. But what if in the exam they don't give you the graph and they write a polynomial instead? That is what our EUT as per the book tells you to do. So if you can see, I have made graph and table for one of them, but I'm going to show you how to make the table also. So what if the graph is not given? Then we will use the table function in your calculator and get the values for graphing. So this is very, very important step now. So there are 5-6 questions. Hopefully we get a graph, then it's easy to identify what is maximum and minimum. But for now, what if there is no graph? So let's start from question number 5. You can see there is a polynomial, so which is degree 3. Okay. And what can happen here? So for this, I would definitely need a table or a graph. Out of the two things, I need one. Here I have made up both just to verify and check your answers. How to get a graph for this? So